Okay, so artist statements, bios, and other blurbs like that. These are an integral part of being an independent contractor in theater. That's you. You're an independent contractor in theater. It is up to you to provide a bio statement or blurb that captures the eyes of the audience, artistic directors, and other potential people who might want to hire you in the future. That said, since these are often requested per contract, you don't need to worry too much about like making the perfect one the first time. Sometimes the organization will send a template for you, and that usually makes it a lot easier because it's just like a Mad Lib. You fill in the name, the verb, and the place that you did it. Very easy. However, at Gwaandak, we often ask for these sort of per time, and we encourage you to write them yourself. So I'm going to go through some tips that might help you write these things. The most important thing is to describe what you are doing /want/did, depending on the timing. In the case of bios, a simple introduction to yourself, an acknowledgement of the land that you live on, and then in a few brief sentences covering any of the following topics. Relevant training/schooling, past experiences in similar projects, past experiences with Gwaandak Theatre or whatever organization you're working for, interests outside of theater, or related theater work. And then anything else you're working on that someone reading could ask you about. Bios are often limited in their word count, so brevity is your friend. Okay, so now in the case of artist statements, it's very similar to bios, but you generally have more like a page or 2 pages to articulate yourself. Artist statements are sometimes for audiences, sometimes for applications, and they're sometimes used like elsewhere, so maybe like director's notes, things like that. In these instances, it is useful to follow a similar pattern to the bio. Start with an extended introduction to yourself and the land that you live on. Articulate any identities or experiences that you think might be worth bringing up for this application or whoever will be reading it. Bring up your training and experience in a bit more detail and provide context on why that training or experience is relevant to what you're going to talk about. Then use the remainder of the space to articulate the idea/the concept and what impact it will have on yourself, your community, and the industry as a whole. Okay, that's bios and artist statements. Sometimes, though, you get asked to write like other blurbs as an independent contractor in theater. Remember, that's you, independent contractor in theater. Maybe we hired you to lead a workshop and you need to describe it for our marketing department. Or maybe you're writing the director's note for a play. Or maybe you're an artistic director and you need to write a blurb, how to articulate, how to write a blurb. These are things that happen in theater all the time. And these are almost always case by case and often tied to the specific job you've been hired to do. In these instances, I encourage you to write it out in long form. Put all the information required into the document. Talk about why it will be fun, why you picked the script, what participants will learn, anything you can think of. Elaborate, elaborate, elaborate. The hope generally is to excite, entice, and inform people about the thing, what it is, why it's happening, when, etc. In the end, brevity will also serve us here, but starting with getting all the information out is most useful. Then you prune it down, join like thoughts together, and send it to us or whoever's hiring you and ask for feedback. Always, if they're asking you to write a blurb that you don't have a first draft on, always just send it in a couple days early and ask for feedback. The company will have specific things they're looking for and they can really focus in on that. Awesome. That's just some basic tips on how to write these things. For all 3 of these things, bios, artist statements, and other blurbs, please feel encouraged to reach out to us at Gwaandak Theatre for help. Whether that's for a Gwaandak application or another organization, it's really important to know that while you may be writing the draft that will be used, you will be able to return to it and update it or clarify it as needed for upcoming projects and applications. I pretty much use the same Google document since 2016. I just copy paste, edit, copy paste, edit. So I have all the old versions of my bio. When I do artist statements, I copy paste my bio into the document and I go from there. These things really start to work together once you build up the documents. All of these blurbs that are asked of you are about articulating yourself and sharing yourself with the audience. So really write something that makes you feel good and that makes sense to you and that you feel is a relatively clear articulation of where you are now or what you're looking for. It really is about the audience getting to know you. So really just share yourself through the words.